For Pakistan, it's a country that is considered as a religious destination for a lot of people in Southeast Asia. My question is, how can Pakistan take this reputation and make it as a tool to promote a religious diversity and tolerance in the region where, as you said in your intervention, is living a lot of events that has a relation with terrorism, for example?
Thank you. Now, Pakistan is, it's an Islamic state, but it's a moderate Muslim country. And it has always played a constructive, a positive role in world affairs. Pakistan has been very active in terms of countering terrorism, eliminating terrorism. It has done that for instance, helped do that in and around Pakistan, like in Afghanistan, for instance. It has played a very positive role. In Pakistan, on this border with Afghanistan, there have been regions where sort of terrorists from Afghanistan had moved after 9/11 when the US invaded Afghanistan. And they had established some safe havens. But over the last many years, and these were, because these were people who had come to the region after the Russian invasion of Afghanistan. And many had been actually brought there by by the Americans even, They were not terrorists then, they were mujahideen then, then they were fighting the war of the free world. But later on, when the Russians left, some of them just turned kind of extremist and terrorists. And they created a problem for the whole world. It was a huge problem, as you know, 9/11 and sort of all the terrorist incidents that we witnessed all over the world. Many of them had roots in that region. So it has taken us years to eliminate that. On behalf of the world, that was a battle, a battle against terrorism, a fight against terrorism that we were fighting for the world. We were in the vanguard of that battle. That has been largely won, that fight. Basically there's still here and there very sporadic incidents, but overall, and it has been at a huge cost, like 60,000 deaths, 5,000 soldiers dead, basically, over $120 billion of economic losses. Now, that is what we've done. Unfortunately, it has been misperceived in certain countries or by certain media and everything. It has been misperceived that, basically, in the sense that people sometimes think that, okay, the Pakistan is a country from where, they have the extremist element there who have exported extremism to other places, which is a total fallacy. In fact, in Pakistan, we never had a homegrown terrorists. Basically all these terrorists, these were basically the offshoot of that Afghan war, and they came from all over the world, from Middle East, from Central Asia, from Afghanistan. And then of course there were some local guys who joined them, basically. But in terms of the influence that we had as a moderate Muslim country, it's always a positive influence, because we are trying to promote because Islam stands for what? It stands for peace. Just the word Salam Alaikum means peace be upon you. That's what Salam Alaikum means. Salam, Islam, it's peace, means peace. So we are trying to just promote the core values, and that too also, we are not trying to export any religion, we are not trying to export any even any spiritualism of any sort, because that's not a country's job, But what we do is we have our own values in terms of our very rich and diverse history. These values are values of moderate Islam. These are values of a rich culture, values of peace, peaceful coexistence. These are moral values, ethical values, and yes, these could be sometimes we could be a role model for the other Muslim countries, because there are the Muslim countries which look up to Pakistan. After all, it is one of the largest Muslim countries. In many ways, it's People think it's the most powerful country amongst the Muslim world. So because of that, we are a role model, but a positive role model. We always promoted moderation, and we have promoted sort of coexistence. We have promoted, and Islam has, in my view, in our view, Islam has a total compatibility with the contemporary values of sort of democracy, contemporary values of sort of liberal societies that we have, and that's what we promote as well.
For my second question, it has a relation with India, of course. As we know, Pakistan and India always had their ups and downs, but recently the relation is more into this phase of being in normalization phase. And as you said in your intervention, Southeast Asia might be a very productive region in the future. Do you think that maybe creating a sort of policy, a strategic policy between the two countries, which is integrating all levels, can create a way of sharing again the cultural aspects of India and Pakistan, at the same time developing the tourism? As we know, the two countries share almost the same culture, same history, but also the same nature.
Yeah. You see, I mean, India and Pakistan, they're both countries which are going to have high growth, because it's kind of, because it's not our projection. This is a projection of international economists, international experts, that South Asia will be the region with highest growth in the coming years. Also, it will be a region in terms of, which will be very attractive in terms of tourism, in terms of its cultural influences, all that is, because there's a time for every region to sort of, to gain its prominence or to regain its prominence. In that, with India, we have had problems. We still have outstanding issues like Kashmir, which needs to be resolved. We have just resumed dialogue. We are in principle, we are now, trying to sort of, come up with the modalities as to how the dialogue will be structured. So that's hopefully going to happen now, because once we have that peaceful dialogue, because that dialogue is there to resolve all outstanding issues, including the dispute of Kashmir. But alongside that, we will increase trade with India. We have this body of SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, which is Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, all these countries. So that, and bilaterally with India as well, we are going to have more trade, we are going to have more connectivity, more people-to-people contact, more cultural exchanges, and we are trying to, the SAARC, because SAARC is like what? When we say all these 8 countries, these are 20% of world population, This region of South Asia, with this organization, with cooperation, in a way, sort of, after fostering a very cooperative sort of, environment, can be an engine of growth for the whole world, can be the most coveted region in terms of, tourism, in terms of a destination for investment, in terms of trade, in terms of commerce, in terms of travel, all that. So we are working for that. But there's a responsibility on India as well, being the bigger country in the region, because India just doesn't have issues with Pakistan, it has issues with other countries as well. So it needs to be more magnanimous in trying to sort of, in trying to resolve those, so the region is free of those encumbrances, and embarks upon on the path to progress in the most desirable way.
Okay, so first of all, I wanted to thank you on behalf of Hamza and I for taking this time to sit with us and answer our questions. Yeah, Hamza. So Carla, yeah. So as to my first question that I have here, that I'm just going to read, it says, Malindo Air has started to direct its flights towards Pakistan, saying that the launch of its flight operation will promote business and tourism in the two countries. So, how is the South Asian market essential to developing tourism and other projects for Pakistan? That would be my question.
Okay, so this which airline was that? Oh, the Malaysian. Yeah. Karachi used to be a hub, for many airlines. I remember in the 80s, it was a bigger hub than Dubai. And then, of course, because of different factors, like it sort of lost some of that position. But it's coming back now. More and more airlines are, restarting the operations for Pakistan because they can see the positive news coming from the positive story coming from the upward spiral, that is sort of, in process and works there. Um, all these sort of, sort of foreign airlines more and more coming to Pakistan. And then, of course, the intra-regional airlines, for instance, more flights by Air India to Pakistan, more flights by Pakistan Airlines to India, more flight by sort of, Myanmar, Bangladesh Airlines to Pakistan. This will, because it's a travel, the people-to-people contact is the key, in my view. One thing I've noticed very interesting in Germany as well. Any German friend who has visited Pakistan, he has a totally different picture of Pakistan than those who have not visited Pakistan. So once you have, there can be no substitute to that. Once somebody visits a country, that is when they have a factual picture of that country, not from the media, not from the social media even, not from the books. So definitely more and more such connections, and we are promoting that. We are promoting more sort of flights coming to Pakistan. It's happening, as we speak. This will definitely open up opportunities for Pakistan and for the region.
So, just one last question. Do you think should Pakistan keep developing their national office to promote their brand worldwide? And how should they do this? Pakistan, how should they do this?
National office?
Yes.
Um, okay. So, okay, I understand now. Basically, you mean is like, should we have a separate ministry for that or separate institution for that? Like exactly. Yeah. These are all kind of ideas which are interesting ideas, good ideas. Like we already have some mechanisms. We have the ministries of tourism, for instance. We have a board of investment, for instance. Their job is to, like the board of investment's job is to spread in knowledge and information about the investment opportunities in Pakistan. Not just to do that all over the world, but also to facilitate that. The job of Ministry of Tourism is to again spread and facilitate sort of that travel to Pakistan. So we have the institutional mechanisms for that. I think what we need to do there is probably to put in more resources, because it's the resources which basically make those institutions work in a more efficient way, in a more effective way. So yes, we will be in the coming years. We'll be putting more resources to that, because first of all, we are the present government is very conscious of that. They know the importance of this. Second of all, we are seeing good results of our efforts, and that is very important, because when you do something and you see good results, that is the time you want to invest more in that. So we have seen very good results in the last 2 years. So now we are going to invest more in that, definitely, like you suggested.
Yeah, thank you again for your time and for the questions.